Hello. First of all, I'm back. I'm back, and first of all, I would like to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. It is Father's Day today. We have a few things that's going on, a few topics to cover. Again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Enjoy your kids. Some of us fathers are not fortunate, unfortunately, not with our children on this day, but I'm with them in spirit. But anyway, the first thing I'm going to start off with is obviously from New York, huge Knicks fans. My name is Anthony Fauntleroy here in New York. Um, the Knicks did an outstanding job. Everybody doubted them. I've even had doubt in my own team. I go way back from Bernard King, the Bernard King days, way back when. I remember when they drafted Patrick Ewing and whatnot. I've been to some Knicks and Bulls games, some heated games, and I've actually even went to a Knicks Chicago Bulls playoff game. I was lucky enough to be a part of that, but I've never seen what I've seen this year. Nobody expected. I don't think anybody expected this. Um, and they won across the boards. They beat the best of the best. They beat whoever was in front of them. I was worried about Boston. I was worried about Detroit. The Knicks just breezed right through everything. We had the ticker tape parade here in New York. It was outstanding. Alicia Keys performed in that. There was 2 million fans out there, and obviously, they were acting crazy. First Knicks win in a long time. So that was nice. Okay. Now, on the back side of all of that greatness and everything that's going on, I went out. My fiance told me to get a newspaper as a collector's item. I did exactly that. I actually have the game where they came back. Have that newspaper too, the greatest comeback of all time. So I got a little bit of history that I have as collector's items that I'll hold on to. Only thing now is my Jets. The Yankees, they won. I'm a Jets, Yankee, and Knicks fan. Okay. Giants secondarily, I like the Jets, but the Giants are my secondary team. Okay. The Giants even won before my Jets in my lifetime. So now I got one more team to watch win a championship, and that would be the Jets. I actually think the Knicks are going to possibly have a good possibility to repeat. They have some contracts that's going to be expiring soon. They got and whatnot like that. But Carl Anthony Towns even said if he has to restructure his contract to stay, he's the big one. If he has to restructure his contract to stay, he will. Remember, Jalen Brunson did that, okay, to keep the players on the team. Some players prefer to win than to pack up their whole family and move to a different state and start all over with a different team. And a lot of times when that happens, they don't win where they're going to either. So Carl Anthony Towns knows he can win here in New York because he did it already. Why would you want to go to another team for more money? In life, sometimes it's not always about money. I've lost a lot of family members. I lost family members that had money. I lost friends that had money, millionaires. So it's not always about money sometimes. It's about your accomplishments and your achievements and what you get out of this life because life is too short to be worrying about money. Denzel Washington once said, from my hometown, Mount Vernon, New York, he once said, there's no Brinks truck, armored truck behind your hearse. Okay, so everybody's worried about money, 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 money. Okay, you might as well enjoy life. Health is wealth. That's one of the reasons why I'm also nationally certified as a personal trainer and nutritionist. Okay, because I may not have that much, but knock on wood, I do have health. So a lot of people they want a fancy cars, they want to look this way, they want to look that way, they want to look this way, they want to do all of that. But let me tell you something: when you hooked up to those machines in the ICU, You know your time is very short left. The last thing you're going to be thinking about is your nice car sitting in the parking lot or in the driveway at your house or what kind of jewelry you got on. You're not going to be thinking about none of that. Okay, when your time is up, your time is up. Okay, so you make the best of what you have while you're here. You try to touch as many people's lives as you can. And the best thing that you can leave behind is a legacy. You know, give something to someone that don't have. You know, someone that's down, you lift them up. You know, you do as much as you can to leave a legacy. You know, so I'm working on a legacy. You know, I don't know what everybody else is working on. Everybody want to go do this. They want to look cute. They want to look, you know, they want to look dope. They want to do this. They want to do that. Oh, look what I'm doing. Look where I'm at. You know, I'm doing this and I'm doing. I'm not a show off type of person. I don't even like show offs. I really don't. You know, because most of the time when people show off, it's not what it seems to be. You know, they're saying one thing and it could be something completely different than what they're saying. Okay, so with that being said, we have a situation now with Karmelo Anthony, not the basketball player, the 19-year-old that's being accused of murder. Okay, he was done dirty. He was done dirty by his friend that invited him under the tent. He was done dirty. He was done dirty by the judges, by the DA, and the prosecutor. Okay, they all did him dirty. You know, he's a 19-year-old kid now. The situation happened when he was 17. He was still a minor. Okay, why they put so many years? They're going to give him 35 years for basically protecting himself. Now, the videos came out. Ironically, they came out on Juneteenth. Juneteenth, they came out. Okay, and it's ironic that they came out at that time because obviously people are celebrating Juneteenth. So they just added a little salt and said, okay, by the way, this is what's going on with Karmelo Anthony. Something else for you to talk about, you know, while it died down, you know. But I appreciate all the feedback that's going on social media. There's celebrities getting involved with this situation. Everybody's keeping a close eye on it because we don't want to let this young man go to jail for 35 years for protecting himself. Okay. Now I've seen the video. I've seen different angles and different clear ones. I've seen foggy ones, you know, and everybody has an opinion about what happened. But there's one thing that you can't do. You can't sit there and look at the video and see exactly what happened and turn around and say it was Karmelo's fault. This young man was there by himself, basically, because his friend wasn't even his friend. Okay? He was there basically by himself, and you got all these dudes standing around him. It started off with the two brothers, and then it was up to some other people that joined in trying to get him to remove him from underneath the tent. Okay? My whole question with that is, if you had that much of a problem with him underneath the tent, you go get a coach. You go get somebody with authority to move him or ask him to leave or whatever. 9 times out of 10, the coach wouldn't have said nothing. The coach wouldn't have told him to leave. There was no reason for him to leave. He wasn't bothering anybody. Okay? Regardless if, yeah, he's on the opposite team, but what's he going to, not going to steal plays? It's track. Okay? So it's not like he's stealing plays. You know, so just leave him alone. It was raining outside. He was there with his friend, supposedly friend. He's not a friend. You get on Eddie. I'll talk about Eddie soon. But you know, it's a situation where he's young, you know, and then you hear people, well, why is he carrying a knife? Who gives a damn why he's carrying a knife? Texas is an open state. There's people walking around with guns. Oh, he's going to bring a knife to attract me? Who knows why he's bringing a knife to it? Maybe it's a good luck knife. Some people have Swiss Army knives or knives or stuff that they carry on them. It's open carry, and it was legal. If I can walk around with an open carry knife, I'm going to walk around with one too. I don't care where I go. It doesn't matter where he's going with the knife. But his intent was not to go there and stab people up and kill them. That was not his intent. But they made him seem like that was his intent. That's what he wanted to do. You know, and I gotta say this: white people, y'all need to stop. You had a young man that was shot down for supposedly taking water. You got a baby that was 1 year old that was shot down by a police officer, 1 year old, over Pampers. And do I have to go through Trayvon Martin, Emmett Till? Do I have to go all the way back to, all of these people, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, there's so much that white people have done to black people. There's one little 17-year-old that was threatened. They told him if he don't leave the tank, they're going to kick his ass. They actually told him that. Okay, to me, that's a threat. Okay? And I know for sure Karmelo didn't mean to kill that kid. He did not mean to kill him. Maybe scare him. Maybe put a little bruise on him or something like that. He did not mean to kill him. And for the media, the white media, and the MAGA people, and all of these other people, these white people, and I look at social media and I'm looking at people laughing at the fact that this young man is in jail. Some people say he should have got hung. He should have got the death penalty. After all we've been through as black people, are you serious? Are you serious? After all we've been through, a 17-year-old kid at that time, he's 19 now, at 17 years old kid that's scared because he got people over him and he just tried to defend himself. I don't agree with him doing it, but I understand why he did it. Okay? None of us are in his shoes. And the thing that bothers me the most, we got grown-ass people, grown men, older men, older white men and white men, white women and white men. Oh, well, he should do time. He should do this. We all been 17 years old. We all been 15, 16, 17 years old. A lot of us did some stupid stuff that we got away with. Okay? People make mistakes. They don't think it's fast when they're young like that. They go on instinct, on impulse. Okay? The first thing he was thinking about was protecting himself. And there's no doubt in my mind he wasn't scared. Dude is 5'8", 130-something pounds. You got two big dudes standing in front of you that's over 200 pounds, 6 feet, 6'1", looking like linebackers, standing over here threatening him. And then you had a couple of other guys join in with them. Here's my take on the whole thing for you racist white people out there. If the dude never put his hands on him in the first place, if he would have just left him alone, none of this would have happened. Karmelo told him, if you put your hands on me, you're going to have a problem. And I don't know about y'all, but if somebody has their hand in the bag telling me that if I put my hands on them, I'm going to have a problem, I don't know what's in that bag. There could have been a gun in that bag. How stupid are they to even challenge this kid? Oh, he don't got nothing in the bag. And here's the thing. They wind up taking the bag from him. He came there with the bag. On his back, it was a backpack. I seen the video. He walked in there with the bag on his backpack, a backpack. They took it from him. Because when he left the tent, he didn't have the backpack on no more. So they took it from him. Actually, the Hunter dude, he took it from him. And they did punch on him. They did hit him. And people was like, oh, well, he looks okay now. This is 2 years ago, stupid. This is 2 years ago. You didn't see no footage right after it happened. So how do you know that he wasn't all beat up and had lumps in his face, or lump on his head, or scars and whatnot? You don't know what the hell happened. You're looking at him now. This is 2 years later. You got to be a fucking idiot if you think otherwise. Nobody's seen it right after it happened. Nobody's seen the way Karmelo looked right after it happened to even say that he wasn't hurt. And I blame it on the Trump administration. I blame it all because he for some strange reason, and I'm not racist, but there's some people that's coming out, undercover racists that's coming out. Even coons are coming out. I don't know what's going to happen from now until November, because November is the midterms. A lot can happen between now and then. There's a lot of white people cutting up right now. Okay, a lot of people white people coming out. Dr. Umar Johnson said something one time. He said, I'm glad that Trump is in office. And the reason why he said that is, and he actually explained the same thing. He said, and it happened the same thing when Trump was in office last time. Same thing happened. He said, because the people that were quiet, undercover racists, that's what I call them. They smile on your face, white people. They smile on your face. Everything's good. Oh, well, everything's good. Everything's fine. Yeah. Talking about you behind your back. Can't wait for the opportunity to get into an argument with you. Can't wait for an opportunity to call you a nigger. Can't wait for an opportunity to do whatever, to say whatever they want to you. But the problem is, Trump has secret services. They don't. That's the part that they're missing. Trump can say whatever he wants because he has protection. You don't have no protection. Okay? You don't have no protection. It has to stop. It has to stop. And the way this Carmelo Anthony thing is going, and from the disgusting stuff that I see on Facebook, okay? And I feel sorry for the young man that was stabbed. I really do. Because he was young. He was only 17 years old. That's way too young to be leaving this earth. Okay? But if he wasn't a bully, if he would have left Karmelo alone, he would still be here. Karmelo didn't approach him. He approached Karmelo. This is the part, for some reason, nobody gets that part. He didn't approach him. He didn't even know him. He didn't even know the dude. He walked in the tent and he sat down out of the ring. Not bothering nobody. But because I'm 6 feet tall and I'm 200 pounds and I can do this and I can say this, you need to get out the tent or we're going to kick your ass. And stop. If it wasn't so much, you would still be here. And there's a lot of people doing that. There's a lot of people doing that. You have no right to put your hands on nobody. In today's world, there's a lot of angry people out there. There's a lot of people going through things. I would advise you to mind your business, leave people alone, live a peaceful life while you still got a life. Because it can be cut short. I don't like bullies, first of all. Okay? Y'all disgust me. And if you have kids that are bullies, and most of the time, parents don't even know their kids are bullies in school. Kids can leave the house one way. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. All proper talking to their parents and go to school and be like fucking asshole in school. I've seen it. I'm going to tell you this. I rolled up on my son. He was playing in the playground. He was acting completely different than he acted around me. He wasn't being a bully or nothing like that, but he was. That's not the child that left the house. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And I approached him. I said, "What was all that about? You don't act like that at home. You know that. Okay, you better tone it down a little. Okay, just tone it down a little. He wasn't acting crazy. He was just doing stuff I'm not used to seeing him do. Okay, it just caught me off guard. Kids act completely different when they leave the house and when they go to school and they're around their friends and stuff like that, whether they got to show off in front of them or whatever. But back to Karmelo. Karmelo Anthony, if he gets a second chance, his appeal, because he has to get the appeal first, I do think that he's going to wind up at the worst, less charges. He's not going to get no 35 years. That's not happening. If he gets an appeal, he's not going to get no 35 years. Okay? But if they rule it self-defense, then he walks right out of the courtroom. Goes straight home. Because it could be ruled self-defense. And here's something else that they left out that I seen in the video. And I'm going to say it because I know these white people running around. Oh, he did it on purpose. He needs to lock him up. He's lucky he's not getting a death penalty. He's lucky he's not doing life. And this, he got off easy. And it's not. Shut up. After the incident happened, and they told him that the young man was in critical condition, Karmelo kept saying, and I heard him saying it, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be okay? He was concerned about the guy that he supposedly had stabbed. That's not somebody that went in there to kill somebody. If I'm going to kill somebody, I'm not concerned about whether they die or not. Karmelo kept saying, is he going to be okay? Oh my God, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be okay? He kept asking that. He actually got upset and started crying when he seen how serious it was. He said, I told him, don't touch me. Don't put his hands on me. He said that crying. So he felt bad at what he did because he acted on impulse as a young man that felt threatened because you got all these big dudes over you, and he reacted. I don't condone it. It was the wrong move, but I understand why he did it. You understand? Keep in mind, we had a 14-year-old running out of a Korean store or Asian store accused of water, and he was running away. And the owner said he was a threat at 14 years old with a bottle of water. How in the world you a threat with a bottle of water at 14 years old? To get shot in the back, killed, shot in the back. Over water? Over water. So that situation will come, and going back to Karmelo again, that could have went any kind of way. They could have hit him, he could have fell and hit his head, wind up in a concussion, or wind up in a coma. Obviously, dudes were bigger than him. All he had was this little knife. That knife wasn't even, and the knife was legal. He wasn't walking around with no Rambo knife. The knife was like 3.5 inches. It was a legal knife in Texas. If he stabbed him with a knife, because that's coming into question too. Because they saying there was another object that was involved. Karmelo never said, if you come closer, while he had his hands on his back, he never said, I have a knife. He never said that. And I also find it strange that when they showed the knife as evidence, the knife was half folded. Who folded up the knife? Why was the knife half folded? If you take out a flip knife and you stab somebody, you're not going to close it back and then leave. And leave it and then leave. The knife had no blood on it. No blood. Suppose it stabbed somebody in the heart. How come the knife didn't have no blood on it? There was a lot of things that happened in that tent. From what I heard, when they did the autopsy, they said that puncture that was in his chest was not from somebody sticking a knife in him. They said it's almost like he fell on something and it punctured his heart. I hope when the case comes back up again, that's brought to light. I also heard that Karmelo had a shoulder injury about a week or two before that happened. So he wouldn't have even had enough strength to stick that knife in that young man's chest. He was recovering from a shoulder injury. There's a lot more to be said about this case. There's a lot more that's going to go on. I just hope he has a second chance with the appeal, because I do believe, unless everybody's blind, that he's going to get far less charges, if any charges, and it's going to be justified. Unfortunately, a young man lost his life over it, but if he wasn't a bully, he would still be here. That's the bottom line. It was not his job to tell somebody, and I hear white people on social media, well, he told him to leave. Well, who the hell is he to tell somebody else to leave? That's not his tent. And here's the other part that they left out. One of those twins, I don't know which one it was suspended from school the week before. So we're not talking about choir boys here. Okay? And I don't know if you heard that garbage that the father was saying. Call him a watermelon jailbird, watermelon criminal, or something like that. But the father's very racist too. He could be responsible for his son acting the way he's acting. Racism is big in Texas. I keep telling people, I have friends that live in Texas. And what's going on now is these are the grandkids and great-grands of the people or the great-great-grands from way back in slavery. That's why I have a problem with living in a slave state. They're born with it. They're born with that type of attitude towards Black people or Mexicans or whatever. Anybody that's not their color. Okay? And you would think by now, in the society that we live in now, you would think that people would come to terms that life is too short for all of that. But unfortunately, we're not living in that type of environment right now. And the dude in the White House, he's not helping. He's making it worse. So with that being said, free Karmelo Anthony. He made a mistake at 17 years old. They tried him as an adult. They may have waited until after his 18th birthday to bring the child on so they can try him as an adult and put him away for life. But Black people, be careful out there. Watch your kids. Talk to your kids. Hopefully there's a lot of young kids that'll learn from this, and learn that, first of all, no bullying. If you're around somebody that's a bully, get away from them. Don't try to be a superhero or nothing like that. Get away from them. If somebody bullies you, yeah, you may have to be a little punk, and tell on them, because back in the day, that's what they say, you're a punk if you tell on a bully, but if it's going to keep a situation from escalating, then you go ahead and you contact somebody, uh, so the situation won't escalate. Okay. And who knows, in Carmelo's situation, maybe he was bullied before. Never crossed nobody's mind. Maybe that's why he had the knife on him. Maybe somebody's threatened him or threatened to do something to him before. So when people say certain things, they have to be careful with understanding the facts of what really happened, because it's clear that a lot of people didn't know the facts in this situation. So hopefully everything goes well. He's going to do a little time because he has to wait for the appeal process and everything to go through. If he gets the appeal, that's the first step. He has to get it. Then once he gets the appeal, we'll see what happens after that. But right now, he's protected. I think they have him separate from everybody else. So you don't have to worry about that with him in there. And hopefully everything will turn out okay. But and I do think it will. If he wins the appeal, I think he's going to be doing a lot better as far as whether he does time or whether he just gets off altogether. It can go either way because there's enough evidence for him to get off. There is enough evidence. It depends on how it's presented, that we have to look into. He's going to have new lawyers. I think he's going to have a team of lawyers. It's not going to be that little bullshit lawyer that he had before as a defense attorney. That guy was garbage, straight up garbage. Okay, and hopefully he has a jury of his peers. Not one black person on there. Oh, well, he had an Asian guy, Asian or Latino. That's not his peers. Okay, that's not his peers. Just because they weren't all white, that doesn't mean that they was his peers. His peers are black. He's a black man. Okay, so hopefully they get that situation straight. And that's it. Talk to your kids. Let them know the dangers of all of this stuff. Let them know that this could happen to them. I just hope that everything turns out well for him and his family. The kid has a 3.7 GPA in high school. He was a football team captain. He was a captain on his track team. Okay. He saved a young kid's life that was drowning. He's a good kid. He just got scared and he made a bad decision that most scared kids at 17 years old may do. Okay. Listen, there's kids that's been bullied that committed suicide. I didn't hear nobody bring that up. And when that happens, I don't hear nobody feeling sorry for the kid that committed suicide because he was scared to tell anybody and couldn't defend himself and decided to kill himself or herself. I don't hear nobody talking about that. So bullying is a no. If you're not bullying somebody, if you're bullying somebody, you're doing something wrong. If you have common enough sense to bully somebody, then you have common sense enough to know that you're putting fear in somebody. You're making somebody feel uncomfortable. If you get off on that, then you would have to face the consequences. That's the bottom line. And looking at the way this kid's father was talking when he was drunk as a skunk on social media and the stuff that he said about black, he wasn't talking about just Karmelo in that video. He was talking about black people in general. He mentioned some things about Karmelo, but he also said things about black people in general. So this young man that's no longer here, he was raised in that garbage, which is why he's not here right now. Okay? Poor parenting. Poor parenting. Most kids that are racist because the parents are racist or the grandparents are racist. They wasn't born that way. Somebody had to teach them that. Anyway, my name is Anthony Fauntleroy. Just want to shed some light on some things. There's a bunch of things that was going on. So I just want to touch on my Knicks to start off. First time I've seen that in my lifetime. We came short a lot of times, so I had to mention that and bring that up. And this Karmelo thing is sitting hard with me because I happen to have kids. Well, they're older now. They're young men, and they are older than Karmelo. But it could have happened to them too, But so I sympathize for anybody that's going through that, or they have a child that's in that situation. I sympathize for it, for them and for the family and the child that's going through that. Okay, so that's why I bring it up, and I hope this young man, gets a fair trial the next time, or fair hearing, or whatever, and everything goes in his favor for the most part. If he gets off, because he could get off. From what I seen the videos. I seen different angles of the video. I've seen fuzzy ones. I've seen clear ones. I seen what happened. He was jumped. He's lucky to get out of there unscathed. And he's lucky he's fast as hell. He is on the track team. So once he got out of there, they couldn't even catch him. He's running for his life. He was hoping that they wasn't running behind him. But he ran right to a coach. He didn't run out of the stadium. He didn't run to try to get away from the situation. He ran to try to contact somebody to help him. He ran for help. We got white people. Oh, look, he tried to escape. He ran right to the police, stupid. He ran right to the coaches, and then went right to the police. If he's trying to run away, he's not going to the police. If he did it on purpose, he's not going to the police. Use your common sense. And I do think that there's white people that's trying to start a race war. Black people don't want no part of that. We're ready if it goes down, but we don't want no part of that. Believe it or not, black people are more peaceful than white people. White people, they always got to do something. You got to bomb countries for no reason. You got to mess with the water. You got to mess with the food. You got to mess with the air. You got to put out diseases, COVIDs. Whip up some vaccine that's going to kill you faster. White people doing all, black people ain't doing all that. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. Anyway, my name is Anthony Fauntleroy. Y'all have a nice day. Thank you for joining me. I don't come on here often. I will, because Facebook is acting crazy right now. There's some stuff going on with them too that I'm dealing with, but racism is alive and well. And I tell all our brothers and sisters, keep your head on straight. Don't get baited into anything. But just pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't take nothing for granted. And stay safe out there. Peace and love.